In Gaza, those who hold the cameras are now in the crosshairs. Yesterday, 5 journalists were among 20 killed in devastating strikes on Nasser Hospital, a place that should be safe under international law. This is the deadliest war for reporters in modern history. They were just covering the medicine and rescue, not combat. Yet still they died, just doing their job. Mariam Daga, Mohammed Salama, Ahmed Abu Aziz, Moaz Abu Taha. As has now become the norm for journalists working in Gaza, Mariam Abu Daga prepared her will despite being just 33 years old. She left behind 2 sets of instructions. To her colleagues, "Please don't cry at my funeral," and to her 13-year-old son, Gaith, "Darling boy, make me proud." Her rise to prominence as a journalist began with tragedy. She filmed the death of a protester who was shot during the 2018 Great March of Return in Gaza, where Israeli forces shot protesters marching towards the Gaza border fence, killing more than 220 people and wounding more than 9,200. She later discovered that the protester was her young brother. The war in Gaza has been the deadliest period ever for journalists, killing more than 192 Palestinian journalists since it began on the 7th of October, 2023. According to the United Nations, the number of Palestinian journalists killed by Israel since the start of the war stood at 242 by the 11th of August 2025. Compare this to the figure of 384 that were killed in the entirety of World War II. That is, 248 journalists have been killed here. More than in any conflict since records began. They reported the war whilst the bombs fell, and while burying relatives, all the while living in tents and hospital courtyards. They kept telling the story at the risk of their own lives. Press tents destroyed and hospitals turned to rubble. Their cameras that once recorded the truth of the situation lay smashed on the ground. Their families having lived with the consequences of every assignment. Each loss ripples across communities and across the world of news. These are not statistics. These are real people. International reporters are banned by the IDF from Gaza. Except for rare embeds, only local journalists can tell us the truth of what actually happens. Without them, the world sees nothing. Only the story as told by those who hold the guns. That deadly silence changes what the world sees. The pain, the suffering, and the atrocities go unreported. Editors wait for messages that never come, when only local voices remain. And the stories are told by brave men and women risking all to get the truth out. The narratives narrow and facts become harder to verify. Israel says it does not target journalists. The Prime Minister called the Nasser strike a tragic mishap. Yet in all these tragic mishap, it seems journalists keep getting killed. Human rights organizations document patterns of strikes on civilian sites. For those on the ground, it feels more and more like a pattern. It makes journalism a death sentence for many local reporters, and families now have to consider as to whether a story is worth the risk. Every targeted strike cuts down those who can speak for the people inside. Some reporters now avoid their own children,
fearing their presence will make them targets. One journalist said, "I'm scared to report. There's no protection."
Others admit, "I'm scared to do my job." Each time a call goes unanswered, editors brace for the worst. Newsrooms go silent every time a phone goes dead. A parent has to choose safety over a byline. A child keeps a camera toy like his daddy. They keep working, putting their lives on the line, day or night, sometimes in hiding. Every silence is an alarm. They call colleagues, hoping for a friendly voice on the line, but sometimes the line stays silent. From the whole world, calls are growing for more independent access. Protesters and journalists worldwide demand transparency. More than 1,300 journalists have signed a warning. Statements from 28 countries demand unfettered access to Gaza. These calls demand that independent reporting must resume. They say that the first casualty of war is truth. Well, if this blackout stands, governments will believe that they can erase the truth. And the precedent reaches far beyond this small strip of land. The world's journalists demand access. The world must listen. In Gaza, telling the truth has become the most dangerous job in the world. And without those willing to risk everything, those people with something to hide win. Please like and subscribe to keep truth alive.